Three men convicted of killing 21-year-old Stellenbosch University student Hannah Cornelius have received life sentences in the High Court in Cape Town. Cornelius and a friend, Cheslin Marsh, were kidnapped by four men whilst sitting near the campus in May last year. Marsh was robbed and beaten and left for dead, whilst Cornelius was repeatedly raped and later murdered. Vernon Witboy, Geraldo Parsons and eMbalenhle were sentenced on charges of kidnapping, attempted murder and murder, whilst Nashville Julius got 15 years on charges of kidnapping and robbery with aggravating circumstances. Our reporter Mariska Botha has been following court proceedings for us.
We're coming to you from the Cape Town High Court, where Judge Roshni Ali has just completed sentencing the three men that were convicted of the vicious rape and murder of Stellenbosch student Hannah Cornelius. The three men are Vernon Witboy, Geraldo Parsons and eMbalenhle. Combined, they got 358 years handed down, plus 2 life sentences each. Of course, those sentences will run concurrently because they each got life sentences. So after 25 years, they are eligible to apply for parole. But as the NPA explained to us, it is an application process, after which the judicial system can decide whether they can become members of society again. The fourth man convicted of kidnapping and robbery with aggravated circumstances, Nashville Julius, received 22 years. Of course, that heavy sentence handed down after Hannah Cornelius was gang raped last year. She was stabbed and a heavy stone thrown on her head after the horrible ordeal she went through. Judge Roshni Ali said the men all had previous convictions and they all had multiple opportunities to change their lives for the better, which they didn't do. She says the fact that they were using drugs cannot be used as mitigating circumstances, as they were fully conscious of what they were doing. One of the men, eMbalenhle, used a condom during the rape as to not transfer DNA, and he also burnt his clothes to ensure that there is nothing that can connect him to the crime. The judge said they were calculated, they were cruel and they were brutal, and thus she found no mitigating circumstances for any of the three men. Today, Hannah Cornelius' family was not in court. Last week they testified how this terrible ordeal has crushed their family completely. It has left them in the desert in terms of emotions, and her father, Willem Cornelius, went as far as to say him and his son are merely survivors of this horrible ordeal. Of course, Cheslin Marsh, the man who was stabbed and stoned and left for dead, he was in court today and he was absolutely elated when the judge handed down those hefty sentences. He says now finally he can put this to rest and move on with his life. He's very upbeat about his future, despite the fact that he lost most of his hearing in his left ear. He says he's going back to university next year after he was traumatized after the attack and had to let go of his studies for the time being. But he says next year he will be back and he will be studying, and he says his future is so bright. At least one good thing came out of that for Cheslin. He says he can put it behind him now. And of course there was a huge contingent of community members in the stands, and they were loudly cheering and clapping when Judge Roshni Ali handed down those hefty sentences.